This is probably the most annoying campaign I have ever played. Not a surprise. Its developer said that it was never intended to be played on expert. We can only rely on one strategy to deal with this pack of tanks. Kill them all by attracting one of them at a time until we kill all of them. This sure will take some time, but we do not have another choice. We are playing on expert difficulty after all, so they all have 8000 HP. Jirka will be using his Maximo rifle to shoot one tank at a time. It is worth noting that the magenta-colored cars are immovable, which can be used to our advantage.
Прикройте! Подтягиваемся!
They are jumping because it is simply how a certain plugin works without another plugin it is intended to be working with. Originally, on our servers, once a tank spawns, it attacks immediately instead of waiting for someone to spot it. And the jump is used to reach the target if it is in a tricky spot the tank cannot navigate to, or if the tank itself is stuck. The critical plugins that affect the tanks are disabled for all the Globtastic campaigns through the separate config files. Otherwise, it is physically impossible to play these campaigns past their first chapters with all the difficulties of our servers. Also, our M134 is significantly more effective against the special infected, including the tanks and witches. But that it moves forward when someone is shooting it is not a feature of the server. It is a feature of the campaign itself. There are always 2 incendiary grenades, Molotovs, and a gasoline canister here. A very convenient and exclusive feature that allows the players to snatch the main weapons from the useless, greedy bots.
отрываться!
Someone who was shooting the A-144 accidentally shot some of the other tanks. Still better than fighting all of them at once. I wasted that gasoline canister like a brain-dead witch.
Ой, типа пулемет сильно дамажно.
Все на землю! Мужик, продержись чуток! Мы уже рядом! Вали его!
The bot is even more brain-dead than me. It made the tank kill well there by standing next to him.
Монолит. Не задерживаемся, не задерживаемся!
We will need to use the vent to break through defense. Doing that will alert the horde, but it is not infinite, just relatively large.
Ага, ну вот это все нам очень даже пригодится. А вот чего я однажды чувствовал. Подумать, военные год поставили, стал графика война. За работу! Уничтожайте врагов! Граната, ложись!
Well, they should have came to us rather than basically standing in the open and getting attacked from all directions. The password is Globtastic. Better someone interact with the gravestones alone, so that person will know which gravestones to interact with next. Using the gravestones in an incorrect order spawns these unfriendly creatures.
Дадут по-богатому.
Stop shooting and keep using the gravestones well there, since you interrupted me while I was doing that. Taking anything attached to our tomb's wall breaks the wall and, with a certain chance, lets a tank out. The items on the pillars do not count. Apparently, we need to choose the right door. The traps work only when someone gets in and closes the door. Unfortunately, the right door is random. On my previous playthrough, it was the right one. In this playthrough, It is the left one. Interestingly, according to the campaign developer's video, the safe room area covers all 3 rooms simultaneously, which means that if everyone gets in 2 or all 3 rooms and closes the doors simultaneously, there is a chance that everyone will survive.
Есть потери! Чего добру пропадать, я так мыслю. Прикрой, мужик!
The white grey asphalt breaks when someone steps on it.
Лазеры. Находят.
This is going to be a difficult challenge we will have to get through. At least it was for us with these 2 players. I always play with Zhivka if you did not notice in my other videos. Maybe it would be easier if some of our mutual friends were with us and on Discord. We will need to move the cart and get a lot of goods while being swarmed by zombies non-stop. I almost forgot about this guy. To move the cart, press the use key, E by default, while standing close to it. According to the developer's video, the guns the gnome is using will shoot only in a direction they were originally pointed at. Or, in other words, these guns are single-direction entities that cannot rotate after being spawned. This means that if you rotate the cart, the gnome will still be shooting in a direction the guns are pointed at originally. The same guns are used in the drain in the sacrifice intro scene. Do not open these doors. There is a room with no floor, and it will pull you in.
Все на позициях. Ждем твоего сигнала. Ликвидировать! Я ранен! Я ранен, братья! Противник! Уничтожайте врагов! Все для блага монолита.
the final route. The things we have to load onto the cart are toilet paper packs. But there is a catch. Grabbing them all at once is not recommended because it will summon a lot of witches and tree tanks. It is better to take them few at a time, kill the freshly summoned witches and tanks, then repeat until the cart is full. While I and Jirka did notice that quite soon after a few restarts, the other players were not paying attention to that at all. Nor were they on Discord with us to tell them not to grab all the toilet paper packs at once. And after they were talking to me in quite an arrogant and hostile manner, I had no motivation to type anything in the chat.
Ну, давай. О, танков можно это, оружие. Давай сразу попробуем докатить.
Мочи их!
Пойдем бить, да?
Я ранен, братья! Внимание!
Ну, поехали.
Внимание, противник!
Иди, наверное, к ним, я собираюсь.
Я ранен, братья!
Собираюсь. Да.
Валите в лоб! Братья, я на землю! На кой хрен ты мне стал?
Ну, поэтому.
Jirka is mad because they took all the toilet paper packs at once.
Вы молчите, я не знаю. Вот так умерло.
Мне нужно. Работает! На кой хрен ты мне стал?
Я под тобой был.
Убивайте врагов!
I was intending to start reviving the welder while the fire fades out, so he would stand up the moment the fire has already faded away.
Я ранен! Слушай, я хабар хороший даю. Прикрой меня! Это свежее. Граната! Вали, козлов! Лови гостинчик! Граната! Обнаружен противник! Я тут чуток хабара добыл. Гляди. Поцелуй меня в жопу, красавец. Браток, из меня доктор.
This door does not open like a normal door. Instead, it turns into a physical prop, and you will need to push it out of the way, repeatedly picking up and dropping something you can carry like a propane tank that sometimes spawns here at the door, while pushing yourself against the door should help clear the way. It works the same way as when you try to move a forklift by abusing a carryable object and pushing yourself against it. On the server, we have more options. Drop a gun, or use a grenade launcher shell that acts as ammo for the M79.
Враг монолита! Искореняй! Внимание! Противник!
Once someone gets to the end of this area, a tank will spawn on top of the safe room. There is no strategy for 100% winning, at least none that I could think of. Trying to run around the safe room is a risky option. A jockey, or sometimes two of them at once, always spawn there. Just try to kill the tank as fast as you can, so no one will die. And beware of that lock conveniently poised up there for the tank to throw.
Пора за работу! Осторожнее!
The tank on our servers is more aggressive and nearly impossible to kill with melee weapons while it chases someone. It will quickly turn around and hit everyone who is close to it in about a second. The script that makes it go for those who are shooting, that is, being noisy, compensates for that. Keep in mind that going past the bus alerts the horde, and going even further spawns two tanks. Shoot on someone, we're going too far every time, making us fight both the horde and the two tanks at once. And be careful trying to take a grenade at this bus stop. The grenade that is not outlined will get you killed.
Нечего добру пропадать, я так вот. Прикрой меня! Враг на горизонте!
If you are intending to take the same position to defend, instead of going back to the safe room, beware of chargers.
Я ранен! Иду бой с противником! Прикрой! Прикрой меня!
Jumping onto these platforms summons two tanks.
Не подставляйся! Лови
Watch out! Watch out! Watch out! Watch out!
твою мать!
And beware of those locks.
нас рыпаться.
The face on the floor will give you an adrenaline effect for a short time if you step on it.
Было бы где отсидеться, так негде.
Yuka gives Narcos another chance to not die in a silly way again.
Люди, помогите! Эх, подтягиваемся! Помогите! Люди, помогите! Придет время избранного солнца, монолит даст им совершенство. Есть раненый!
There are always medkits and a defibrillator behind this developer-textured tower. Climbing the ladder will spawn two tanks again. One will climb down from the top, and another one will fall out of a wall above the entrance. However, there is a way to slip away from them. Jump off the ladder into the pocket a tank just fell out of.
Не подставляться. Защитим монолит! К оружию!
There are jockeys up on the tree, one of which always attacks once someone is under them.
Внимание, противник!
The tank in the chair will become alive if someone stands in front of it for a few seconds.
Вот так и загреб. И за хвост собаки. Я ранен! Не отрываться! Помогите! А смысл-то держи! Ну? Мы плачем. Мы ждем. А жить-то всем охота, а жертва аборта. Прикрой, мужик! А куда идти? Враги близко. Такова воля Монолита.
The hint is not very informative. Here is a better hint. Kill the guard tank with any means you could possibly think of. In our case, we had the grenade launcher shells that can be used as short-range bombs. And do not get too close to the guard tank, because if you do, it will spawn the setting witches.
Я ранен! Я не могу двигаться! Граната! Граната! Слушай, я хабар хороший приволок. Такой бы, да хотя бы раз в неделю. Вот черт! Я ранен, братья! Противники эффективного огня! И поиск. Граната!
Interacting with the door will make the floor split. Wait for that yellow generator to fall down first, then jump down exactly in the middle to avoid getting yourself smashed by the pipes. Interestingly, if you somehow manage to phase through the door or floor by using no clip, most likely, you will be teleported back. This does not prevent you from clipping out of the room through the walls or ceiling, though. I do not know why would you need that information. A useful tip. If a tank is getting dangerously close to you, shooting it slows it down, which may allow you to move around it. Just shoot it repeatedly and move along the wall at the same time to prevent it from shortening the distance between itself and you.
Эй, своих на прицел не бери!
Pressing that green button will either give you some stuff or get you killed.
Нас стало меньше, братья!
We do not need it.
Так, уважаемый, чем мы там
Here is a strategy to the screw part. Go forward for the tanks to spawn, then go back and wait until they die. Yes, it is that simple. Maybe not really fair, but this whole campaign is one huge box of tanks anyway. We could not get to the shit on the server because they did not die due to the server settings. I just cannot see shit.
Вот что-то попал. Под самые помидоры попал. Спасибо, камарада.
Trying to increase brightness through the monitor settings, but the settings window refuses to close. By the way, jumping onto the floating dead tank might spawn a Jackie to ruin your progress immediately.
Иду бой с противником.
This parkour is easy, but not for the bots.
Сюда!
Черт, куда я аптечку
There are several tanks waiting for us up ahead. The strategy is obvious. Light each one up if you can, and retreat while looking out for the rocks. Much easier if you have living players on your team that will shoot the tanks and their rocks.
Граната! Ложи!
We did not want to restart for the witch knows what time, so we made Wilder believe he is a Superman. guy thinks he is very lucky the tanks fall by themselves. If he knew what was actually going on. I think I should remind you that the co-op-tested campaigns were never intended to be played on expert difficulty. The developer himself said that. We knew what we have signed up for before playing the worst one among the co-op-tested campaigns. Tanks just to spawn even more tanks. This is what this campaign is about. Attempting to take a shortcut by jumping onto the ladder or another platform down there will summon 3 tanks. You cannot do that anyway if you are the type of players who just refuse to remember to hold the space key more often than they think they should.
Ура!
Внимание, противник!
Do not forget to hold the space key while jumping to avoid getting accidentally attached to the ledge.
Уйдешь от меня, понял?
Proceeding forward will summon 2 tanks. Again. And do not touch the highlighted defibrillator or you will die.
Хрен тебе! Вот спасибо, так спасибо, покойничек. Помогите! Граната, ложись!
С другой стороны! Прикройте!
Граната, ложись! Отходим! Не на землю!
Be noisy for the tank to switch the target and throw the rock at me. The Swamager is always here.
Разделывают нас!
Do not touch the highlighted items.
Внимание, противник!
Jumping onto the next block always summons a jockey that tries to steer its victim into the water. Do not jump over there alone. Jirka jumped without warning me and paid for that. Going further will summon a pack of tanks behind. You have only one option. Run and do not look back. Finally, the best part of this tank spam of a campaign. The finale.
Ты не уйдешь! Я попал в него!
Иду бой с противником.
We will need to load the plane with 4 carts full of explosive barrels. The carts are pushable objects and located in 4 hangars. Pushing the cart alerts the horde, but if you stop pushing it, the zombies will stop coming too. After the 3rd cart gets close to the plane, 1+1 tanks will get out of the cage. Once the 4th cart is close to the plane, another 4-1 tanks will try to get in your way.
Иду бой с противником. Ну, теперь мы... Привет, брат!
Better look for melee weapons scattered across the area first, then go for the farthest cart.
Я ранен, братья! Монолит — это свет и знание и свет. Он вернется. Вернется.
Внимание, противник!
На помощь!
Получай гранату, чей!
Враг на горизонте!
The Globzilla's limit does not affect the survivors that are behind cover or inside the building.
Я ранен!
Дружище, тут монстр!
Все на землю!
Меня попали! Спасите!
Спасибо тебе!
А все-таки на копье на свой дом. Опять под стул речь.
Ты не осквернишь монолит. Враг убит. Размолотим! Нет! Получай, враг! Поле знак! Я ранен, братья! Уничтожайте врагов! Лови гранату, Череп!
Now, kill all the zombies first, then go for the 2 remaining cards.
Я ранен, братья! Защитим монолит! Все на землю! Лови, враг монолита! И наверх! Пора за работу! Противник! Я ранен! Противники в зоне эффективного
Thanks for being my shield, bot.
Не подставляй!
The grenade launcher, when used properly, is a good offensive weapon some people underestimate.
Ты не уйдешь. Вражеская единица в зоне поражения. Снаряжение. Живым слугам монолита. Сталкер! Граната! Откатываемся! Граната! Не отрываться! Блядь!
I should watch my step more.
Монолит.
А ты! Вот это вот, блядь!
Отхожу!
Попал-то попал.
Загнусь! Пиздец!
Никому не верь, кроме монолита и братьев своих. Никому.
Спасибо.
Ты не уйдешь. Убивайте врагов!